And once again, in the WWE, Bret Hart is screwed.
How much is the underwear worth, Dan? Did you got me on the price tag on everything else?
Guy's wearing a $3,000 suit and he got his underwear from Walmart.
I'm going to cripple you at Hard Justice. Then I'm going to find my ex, and I'm going to give her some hard justice of my own. And instead of those kids calling me Uncle Scotty, your wife should be the one calling me Daddy.
Fire it up, Dolph. You're the new Intercontinental Champion.
Celebrating 12 years on the air and voted 2009 Broadcast Show of the Year. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Thursday night edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. We are live Thursday, August 12, 2010. Coming to you from the beautiful downtown Milwaukee studios of 540 ESPN. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be joining us, whether it's on ESPNMilwaukee.com, PWRshow.com, Blog Talk Radio, or, of course, right here on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson here with David Octavius, the Tiberius Hero.
Just say the. It's abbreviation.
And the Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown.
Rashi, my man!
How are ya?
And Steve Haywood's still in the house.
He brings the credibility to our show.
What a week. What a week. What a week. And what a lot of stuff we have to talk about, including TNA's Hardcore Justice last Sunday on pay-per-view, WWE SummerSlam this Sunday on pay-per-view, and the big controversy called Twittergate from earlier this week involving Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Dixie Carter, and an unnamed, alleged TNA talent. You can join the show and be a part of the program. The number, 276-ESPN, 276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. The Spike TV presentation of TNA Wrestling is also on live during this show. We got a lot to talk about from Raw and an NXT elimination just last Tuesday night on Sci-Fi, sorry. And just so much to get to. I'm excited. I'm hyped up. I'm ready to go. Rashi, I understand you've got a rebuttal to Eric Bischoff regarding his comments about Ring of Honor Wrestling. We'll get to that later. We're also live in the Chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Click on the community link and then select the PWR Chatmosphere. Have I plugged enough yet? Gotten enough out of the way?
Maybe. There's a lot of plugs here tonight.
Well, let's start by talking about TNA's Hardcore Justice on pay-per-view last Sunday. It was a bit of a throwback to the days of ECW, which take us back about 10 or 11 years, and I would venture to say that going into this pay-per-view, the expectations were probably different from what we actually got. And what I think we actually got was an entertaining night of sports entertainment from TNA Wrestling.
I'll say it was entertaining, non-wrestling entertaining, but I wouldn't say the matches were entertaining. Right?
The wrestling itself, absolutely nothing to call home about. The overall
they call home every match. They had to. So that was about it.
The overall presentation, though, very strong, very solid, and very well done by TNA Wrestling, in my opinion. They did something that they're not able to do very often. They can't even do it with their signature Bound for Glory shows. They made the show feel and look and appear special.
Well, they were on the ECW budget. They couldn't light all the lights in the building.
Are you just going to hate all night, David?
I'm not. I'm being honest. Really. Hey, I tweeted out there, I thought, hey, you know what? Good atmosphere. It made you feel like you were in a bingo hall. It really did.
AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle in the first of many matches. It's all wrestling, no talk today.
You know what? Look at that tattoo on AJ.
I should have bought a ticket today, Dave. Woo.
Yeah?
Killing me, baby.
Again, you can be a part of the program. The number 276-3776 or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776, 1-800-990-ESPN. We're also on Twitter. Our username, PWR Show on Twitter. We'll be going to some of your tweets throughout the night and your conversations in the Chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Let's go over TNA Hardcore Justice match by match. First matchup was FBI, the full-blooded Italians, which included Sal E. Graciano, Tracy Smothers, Tony Luke, and Guido going up against Johnny Swinger, Simon Diamond, and Kid Cash.
Yeah. You know, Rashi, I'm sure you didn't see the whole pay-per-view. You may have seen parts of it, right? Yeah.
If part of it is like none of it, yep.
Okay. The first guy that walks through the curtain is Tracy Smothers.
I love Tracy Smothers.
It's like Mr. Walmart, you know, walking through there, and it's like, wow.
Mr. Walmart.
Well,
really?
yeah. Well, just, you know, your average guy.
Really?
He doesn't look anything special, you know? It's like, wow. You know, I know a bunch of the boys in the back that wrestled on the show.
Did he actually wrestle?
He did. He was actually, out of everyone in that match, the most
worker.
entertaining.
I know.
He was the most entertaining, especially when he drops down in the middle of the ring and starts to swim.
Man, I've wrestled Tracy Smothers like 5 or 6 times, and each time is a treat. It's a different trip every time.
He looked like he was having fun.
He does. He's great.
You know, the match overall, I thought it was a very fun match and very reminiscent of what ECW was. And Taz came out before the pay-per-view and spoke about what ECW was and reminded the fans that it was about passion. It was about entertainment, and there was a little bit of hardcore mixed in there. And I think we saw in this first matchup that passion and that entertainment.
I thought all the guys worked hard. They worked the best they could to where their abilities are at this time in their career, you know?
Next matchup was C.W. Anderson versus Two Code Scorpio. Two Code Scorpio, very strong in that matchup. I thought this match delivered probably one of the 3 matches that delivered some decent wrestling that night.
You know, Rashi, you would have been proud of Scorpio. He can still go.
I know he can, man. He's a phenomenal athlete.
I mean, honestly, I think out of all the guys that were on the show, he was at the same level as RVD as far as work rate. And honestly, I thought it was going to be crash and burn with him.
Really?
I haven't seen him in at least 12 years on TV.
Yeah, he still keeps in shape, and he's still a great worker. So
I thought it was a good match.
I'd love to see more of him somewhere. I mean, he can't be that bad a guy.
He's still working heavily over in Japan, I understand, or overseas somewhere.
Somewhat. I mean, he was working with Noah, Pro Wrestling Noah.
Mm-hmm.
But he did get hired in New York a couple of years ago, and then
Ooh,
politics.
Flash, you are so funky.
Oh, no, stop. After that again.
That was to be a trainer.
Yeah.
In FCW.
Ooh, Flash, you are so funky.
Really?
Remember that 1996? It was one of the In Your Houses. It was the December show when he had either debuted or whatever, and he had the 2 dancers, and Vince McMahon was dancing at the broadcast table to the music.
Yeah, man.
That's good stuff.
You know what? I remember I was at a house show in Birmingham, Alabama with Cousin Jack.
I'm sorry.
And it was Scorpio showed up late for the house show. And they changed the whole card around, and they had him on second or third against William Regal. And everybody watched that match, and Regal just busted him up.
Really?
I felt bad for Scorp that night. I mean, he got stretched. He got, you name it. You know, the office wasn't happy, and they sent him a message that night.
Scorpio's a tough dude. I don't know if I believe that.
Why would I lie?
Because,
come on now.
As we're watching TNA Impact Live during the special Thursday night edition, it's AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle just picked up the victory over AJ Styles, 2 former TNA World Heavyweight Champions, and Kurt Angle wins in the opening contest. Next matchup from TNA Hardcore Justice this past Sunday on pay-per-view was PJ Polacco, just incredible, going up against Stevie Richards. Stevie Richards wins as he is accompanied by BW 2.0.
PJ who? Polacco?
Just incredible.
Aldo Montoya?
The Portuguese Man of War.
Oh, my gosh. The guy that wore a jockstrap on his head?
At times.
It was a real jockstrap on his head.
Hey, he was part of the clique.
Yeah, he was the designated driver. You think I'm kidding?
Oh, I don't think you're kidding at all.
Mm-hmm.
That match overall, nothing special. But here was a good thing about the night is they announced him as PJ Polacco, his real name. And all the fans, which, you know, the fans really contributed a lot to this pay-per-view. I would venture to say that if it wasn't for the ECW diehards that were in the arena and there for this show, the show would not have been nearly as good as it turned out to be. They filled in the blanks and said just incredible, which is something TNA, of course, couldn't say, but they can't control what the people in the Impact
TNA couldn't say anything. That was the problem.
Yeah.
I felt bad for them because they couldn't really tell any stories.
It's their fault. Come up with your own stuff. It's that simple.
You know what? I wish we could find online somewhere Al Snow's promo of him in the back. It was the funniest damn thing of the entire night.
We'll put filming on that. We'll see if we can find it.
It was the second funniest thing because I thought New Jack was hilarious also. Okay? But there's a spot where Al's in the locker room, and the fake Blue Meanie and Nova come in their BWO gimmick minus the BWO logo. And Al looks, he's like, they can't even use their shirt. We're so sued, okay? And then here comes in the fake Blue Meanie, and he looks up, he goes, they can't even use the real guy. We're so sued. And the best thing was, it was completely unscripted, you know? And it was just hilarious. That just set the tone for the entire pay-per-view, where Balls Mahoney can't even be Balls Mahoney. That's how bad it was.
He couldn't?
No.
He sold his rights to
Sabu
Vince?
had to shave his head. He can't even use his own hair.
What?
Yes. Vince owns the right to Sabu's hair.
Now, come on.
When did he...
Come on. Don't fall for that, Rashi.
Shut up.
That's hero being hero.
I hate you.
See? Yep. There's daggers shooting out of Rashi's eyes right now.
Oh,
it was a three-way dance as announced by returning ring announcer Steven DeAngelis, which was a nice touch as well. Again, making the show feel special, look special. Brother Runt versus Al Snow versus Rhino. Rhino wins that match after Snow and Runt are taken out.
Yeah. I'm just glad that Al wasn't defending the GLCW title against Brother Runt, because I couldn't handle having him as my champ right now. But you know, I thought it was good. It was a good match. I thought Rhino looked great. Brother Runt looked good for not being on TV in a few years. Al Snow, legendary.
Al's in pretty good shape still.
You know what? Here's the thing, and I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but it is ECW, and it is a dead horse. There are three guys that looked like they really belonged on that pay-per-view. I'll say four. Johnny Swinger, in great shape. Rob Van Dam, Al Snow, 47 years old Al Snow, and Rhino. When Al Snow is in the top three of those guys on the entire pay-per-view, it just shows you where some of these guys have gone. I'm just saying.
Not all of us live clean lives like Al Snow. Sorry.
Well, CM Punk does.
So?
He's living clean. No, I'm just saying. It's like you can tell that these guys, it's past them.
But Al Snow's last 10 years have been a lot better than the, other guys' last 10 years as far as income, and income dictates your lifestyle, and you know what I'm saying, man. So
I hear you. But some of these guys knew about this pay-per-view. You think they would have at least done something different in 3
What can you do in 3 weeks?
A month?
You can't. No.
Rashi.
You can try, and this is probably the result of trying is what you got. Honestly, you can't.
The line of the night was Taz saying that Simon Diamond needs to invest in a singlet.
He did.
And that's the problem with Taz.
He didn't do anybody any favors.
He buried everybody.
Yep.
And he's the guy that should talk the least. That's the guy that should have been on the treadmill and be on that pay-per-view. I mean, when you think of ECW, you think of RVD, Sabu, and Taz, and Sandman.
Yeah.
Sandman just does a quick cameo, and then RVD and Sabu have the main event, minus the hair.
Next matchup was a tag match as the Dudleys took on Axel Rotten and Cajones.
Yeah.
Balls Mahoney.
Vince owns balls. He owns Rooster, and now he owns balls.
Now, my favorite part of this presentation, this matchup, if you will, was the fact that we saw the return of one of the best talkers in the history of the business, a man who has not been exposed as much as he needs to, as far as
he better not be exposed.
Jake the Snake Robert?
As far as his lyrical miracleness, and we'll talk about him when we come back. This is the award-winning
Road Dog
report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report. We're live Thursday, August 12, 2010 on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and at PWRshow.com. Live during this special edition of TNA Impact on Spike TV right now. It's the whole effing show.
Yeah.
Like vodka.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what they're calling it.
Huh.
That's original.
Looks like a cat fight right now.
It's all talk, no action.
Who thought of that?
Oh, wait. No, all
I
action,
just
no talk.
saw her face.
Can you tell who it is? The biker girl?
Oh, yeah.
That's the Black Scorpion.
No, it's Black Rain.
I can't believe they got Wendy Richter in TNA.
I know.
Is she going to sing?
Her body's holding up pretty good.
Yeah.
We have live conversation going on in the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Also, conversation and our Twitter account as well. Our Twitter account is PWR Show. Got a couple of people waiting on hold. You can join us on the phone lines at number 276-ESPN or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. And before we took that time out, we were talking about the next match that happened at TNA's Hardcore Justice last Sunday on pay-per-view.
I can't wait till TV's in 3D.
And the returning lyrical miracle, Joel Gertner.
You know, Damien, I think you're the only one that was really excited about that.
I used to dig his
I did too.
shtick back in the day. Yeah. I guess if I watched it, I would have looked forward to that.
He was as good as he ever was on Sunday night.
Well, he had like 10 years. He had 10 years to come up with something.
And he did a very good job. This was again, they had announced several people that would be part of the show, and several people we saw weren't part of those announced participants. So it was a bit of a pleasant surprise to see a number of these people, Joel Gertner being one of them.
You know, I think for me that was one of the best surprises of the night because he was funny back in the day.
Yeah. The match itself, though, David, you found another funny moment in that matchup that you enjoyed.
Of course. I mean, how often you get to see Bubba and Balls play with their lightsabers? I mean, it was perfect. It was awesome. They both brought out their lightsabers, you know, a little zinging and zanging back and forth. What better place than Orlando, Florida? And you know what? The part that was disturbing is those things were like $150 a piece, and they ruined them.
Wow.
Serious.
Hey.
Yeah. It's the cost of doing business.
But that was the best part of the whole match, because I think that the match between the Dudley Boys and Balls and Axel was just terrible. Terrible.
For the wrestling, you're saying.
Oh, you know what? That match could have been brutal. It could have been just, you know, all four guys beating each other up. Everything was light, super light. Just you would think that the greatest tag team in the world would have at least, you know, elevated their game a little bit.
At the end of the match, we would see New Jack return and come out and have some beat down, including the kitchen sink with the Dudley.
You should have seen the look on Cal's face when he saw the staple gun.
I don't think a staple gun was it used though?
Well, they showed it.
Yeah.
You know, the cheese grater, all that good kind of stuff, but wasn't all used.
And New Jack, he took a liking to good old JV.
Yeah, that kind of brought me back to Heidenreich and Michael Cole moment.
Speaking of Michael Cole, how about him on NXT this week? We'll talk about that in a minute as well. I'm liking it.
Really?
I can go with that.
You're the only one watching NXT.
Raven versus Tommy Dreamer, one of the main advertised matchups, one of the two advertised matchups for the pay-per-view. Raven wins in what was a bit of a bloodbath.
You'd think Tommy Dreamer would have finally beaten Raven. You know?
Apparently he did once back in 1996.
Well, yeah, but, you know, here's the thing. Everyone knows you're booking the show. Right. Who cares if you book yourself to go over? It's a spot show. Let the baby faces win. Send the people home happy. If you're gonna get your butt whooped, your teeth kicked in, you're gonna bleed all over the place in front of your two baby girls in the front row, at least beat the guy. Don't lose. You know?
Well,
yeah, I'm just saying.
Lose he did. And you know what? The match wasn't horrible. I mean, there was a lot going on, including Mick Foley getting involved.
You know what? The funniest thing about that match, and I love Mick Foley, former GLCW champion, friend of the show and everything. He was taking bumps for Supernova, Mike Bucci. He was bumping for Nova. I could not believe that.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
And you know what? The only non-ECW thing in the entire show was Mr. Sacco. You know that?
That wasn't the only non-ECW.
Okay, what else was non-ECW?
I don't remember it this time.
Nothing. Everything else was ECW related. Then there's Mr. Sacco.
The main event.
He's ignoring it. He knows I'm right, fans.
The main event was supposed to be RVD versus Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn, a couple of hours before the pay-per-view, TNA confirmed he was not going to be able to be a part of it due to an injury he sustained to his back. Jerry Lynn very remorseful about missing the show. The replacement is Sabu, and Sabu and RVD had what I thought was a pretty typical match from the two of them. We've seen them wrestle so many times before. That's not a bad thing. It was a good match, a good effort, especially given the circumstances.
Well, you know what? Here's how I look at that. It's two pretty much best buddies, two good friends. They should want to make each other both look good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of shows that RVD sometimes just doesn't bring it every night because he worked kind of hard on that pay-per-view.
Speaking of bringing it every night, TNA Impact live right now. We won't spoil it for you, but RVD is going to have some challenges tonight on this pay-per-view. I'm sorry, on this edition of Impact.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
You are just saying.
They brought back the old ECW referees, brought back the ECW ring announcer, totally changed the way the Impact Zone looks. Mike Tenay disclaimed and said he's there as a fan tonight and that he was not there as the professor, if you will. I really think that they had a reason to at least present this show as special, and I think they did so effectively. Whether overall it was liked or not, I think it was presented in an effective fashion. And, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was worth the $35. I thought it was a decent show.
You stole the stream, baby.
I ordered it.
All right. I don't know. You know what? Entertainment
you
value.
You never wanted to like it, Dave.
No, believe me, I wanted to after Cal pressed the buy it now button. I was hoping I'd love the damn thing, But it's like I really wanted it to be special. I truly did because, a lot of those guys on there, for some of them, it's going to springboard their careers back on the indies. If they look good and do a good job, it reminds people that they're out there. And I want those guys, to at least make some money on the deal. But I'm telling you, it was tough to watch. Without the funny ha-ha there, it was hard to watch.
But was it entertaining?
At times.
Speaking of entertaining, I wonder if he's listening. Goldust just tweeted out, somebody killed Black Rain.
Oh, my gosh. You know who I bet did it? The real Hulk Hogan Twitter account.
More on that later at pwrshow.com. We did have a poll up asking you, did you enjoy TNA Hardcore Justice? Well, the results of that poll when we come back here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRShow.com. Damian Nelson, David Octavius, the Tiberius Hero, and the Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown, here with you live, coming to you from our downtown 540 ESPN Time Warner Cable Studios, all the way all over the world. We got a lot of people waiting on hold here. Thank you for your patience. Number 276-ESPN or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. Before we took that time out, we were talking about TNA's Hardcore Justice pay-per-view, and we had a poll up at pwrshow.com, Rashi, that ask everyone, did you enjoy TNA's Hardcore Justice? You want to guess what the results, percentage-wise, no versus yes?
I'll say 75% enjoyed it.
75% enjoyed. David Hero?
45% people liked it.
43.3% enjoyed it.
Whoa.
Wow. See, I do know stuff once in a while.
57% did not enjoy it.
I was just being nice that I thought that fans knew they shouldn't have had high expectations going in and just accepted it for what it was so they wouldn't be disappointed, and they just...
There you go. That's exactly it. Accept it for what it was.
Yeah.
Not what you expected or hoped for or saw. And that's the piece that's frustrating to me. If anyone listened to my wrap-up post-show of TNA's Hardcore Justice, you heard that I enjoyed the show. From an entertainment standpoint, it delivered and gave me a lot more than I thought I would get. Thus, I enjoyed it. But I think too many people are looking at it for the wrestling and looking to see what they saw the last time they saw ECW, which is just impossible.
It's just not. That's not how it works. It's like going to see a Legends All-Star basketball game and you expect Jordan to take off from the free throw line and dunk. No, you went there to see Legends play, and you know you're going to be entertained, but don't expect them to do what they did 10 years ago.
It's like watching the Harlem Globetrotters.
No, it's not, because they're
It's
not
all
at
gimmicks.
the peak of their game. No, because... So you're telling me what the Globetrotters do is just gimmickry.
A lot of it's gimmickry.
You don't know how much skill that requires to do what they do.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because
We're 2
what
feet
you
away
just
from
said
each other.
was just
He hasn't started.
ignorant.
He hasn't
It was
started
a very
yelling yet.
ignorant
Don't
statement.
take out your Eric Bischoff frustration on
No,
me, okay, pal?
he doesn't frustrate me.
No?
You have to mean something to me to frustrate me. You understand?
That means you love me?
Shut up.
We have shared a hotel room together.
Let's go to the phone
You paid the
lines.
bill.
The number 276-3776 or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. Let's go to...
You know what? Wait, hold on a second.
You did pay the bill. What do you mean?
I know
Hold
I
up.
did
Okay,
pay the bill.
all right.
You know what you guys didn't even acknowledge tonight?
What's that?
Is in the three-way dance between the Blueprint, the Pope, and Mr. Anderson. Who's the only guy that got his intro on TV?
That would be Anderson.
Yeah,
Well, what's your point?
just saying.
What are you just saying?
He's a big star.
Let's go to Michigan. Our first caller of the night. Chasen is the name from Michigan. You're live at the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What up?
Rocky Brown, don't be mad about the whole thing Eric Bischoff said. ROH will be getting my money because I started watching lately and it's good. It's good wrestling. So
Just let's
I don't even all the way know what the dude said yet.
Let's go ahead and share with the world, if you hadn't seen what Eric Bischoff said just a couple of hours ago in reference to Ring of Honor Wrestling on his Facebook page. He said this. Interesting responses. He had asked some questions about give him new names of people that have drawn money in the last 10 years, and he said this to the responses. Clearly, the majority of people here have no idea what drawing money is. ROH is not making money on TV, pay-per-view, or arena shows. It's a backyard vanity project for marks. No disrespect to the talent who are working hard, but numbers don't lie. They don't have opinions, and they don't have agendas. That's what he said. Now, what's interesting about that is, let's run down the list of names on the TNA roster that came from Ring of Honor Wrestling. Nigel McGuinness, Desmond Wolfe, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. The list goes on and on.
Jay Lethal.
And,
Machine Guns.
Rashi, Eric Bischoff thinks you work for a backyard vanity project for Mark.
Well, let me tell you one thing. I could take intern Cal. I could give intern Cal half the budget Eric Bischoff had with WCW, and I guarantee you he wouldn't blow my money in a year. I bet you he'd have a couple of pennies left, wouldn't you, Cal? And did you have to graduate college to know not to spend all your money and not bring in any money? Eric Bischoff didn't know that. He spent a lot more money than he made for a long time.
He spent millions.
He ruined a company. He cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. He personally left hundreds of wrestlers unemployed because there's only one company. So for this guy to sit here and call us glorified backyard whatever, and we can't draw a dime, what have you ever done to draw a dime besides Bill Goldberg, which was a fluke? That is the only thing you can stick in your craw in your whole stinking career besides being able to schmoo somebody to con them out of their money and to con them into doing whatever you want with your little agenda. You have no talent. You couldn't commentate. You can't book. You're horrible. Find a new career. But wait, oh shoot, I forgot.
Oh, there you rubbed the temples. I knew it.
You know how to sweet talk. That's your key. So you got in Dixie Carter's ear, didn't you? You and Hogan, you double-teamed her, right? You got her. You beat her down. She said, okay, now you're running the company, and you're stealing money again. You get a clue, dude. I guess you are smarter than us because you know how to legally steal and we don't. So I guess you are smarter than us. But when you're done stealing everyone's money, you should write a book and tell all the rest of us how to do it so we don't hurt ourselves for a living to try to get where you are, okay?
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Tillman behind the glass, keeping up with the the special edition of TNA Impact, which is on alongside of us this week. We're on a very special Thursday night episode of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, Rashi Brown, and David Hero here live with you, coming to you from our downtown Milwaukee studios. And lots of spirited discussion, Rashi, about your comments referencing Eric Bischoff in the Champion Spirit, PWRshow.com right now.
Well, I don't even know what the basis of him was. He asked a question about our company in particular, or
well, he put out the question for the fans to name somebody who has drew money that was created in the last 10 years, and some of the responses were look at Ring of Honor, and he responded to that.
Oh, well, if he knows any history of Ring of Honor, he would know that half of his roster that are stars came from Ring of Honor, and he wouldn't have spoken another word, or he could have just been the nice guy that he is and just complimented another company instead of burying another company and say, yeah, it's true that Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal came up from Ring of Honor and they're here in TNA. Yeah, that may be so. But no, he had to bury and pretend like, I guess, they just appeared off of a battleship into TNA, and he created them because, in the last 6 months, I guess that's when all the stars of TNA have come around.
He has to deflect the heat off the Hogan Twittergate.
He did say, no disrespect to any of the talent who works hard for Ring of Honor.
Well, so what does that mean? I shouldn't be offended now, right?
That's what he thinks.
You work hard?
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, that's not the point. In his company, it's the exact opposite. We work hard because we're starving and we want more. And his guys, they don't work hard because they have it, and they don't have to work hard because they're going to get it anyway. So
they do have it. They do want to work hard. They just are completely demotivated to do so.
Well, the work conditions. Okay.
Yep. Let's go to the phones, and then David Hero, we're going to talk about this Twittergate. And actually, what I'm just loving is just reading all the reports from the IWC broadcast.
And we didn't touch it, did we?
That just leapt on this story. One headline, 2 huge, really huge names leaving TNA. That was by one of the self-proclaimed top experts in the business.
Wasn't us.
Let's go to Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, Virginia, Lighty is the name. Everybody's got a nickname tonight. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Not much.
All right. I just got 2 quick things. First off, what is up with the lack of SmackDown overhead on this show? I mean, not everyone kind of associates the WWE with just the Raw brand. And sorry, Damien, but the Dashing One isn't the whole show of SmackDown.
No, it's the face of SmackDown.
and secondly, now that Hardcore Justice is behind us, do you guys think that TNA might do a WCW show?
They do weekly.
Lighty, thanks for calling from out in Richmond, Virginia. To the point of SmackDown, SmackDown's the best wrestling show WWE puts on each and every week. Superstar's second best wrestling show, Raw being third. But the flagship is Raw. All the big stuff happens on Raw. Okay, last week on SmackDown, Kane said Rey Mysterio attacked The Undertaker and put him in a vegetative state. That's believable. I'm sorry, SmackDown's not bad. It just doesn't produce much newsworthy items to go in depth with. And plus,
well, and also
we need an extra hour.
Well, hold on, and normally we're on Monday night,
right?
So what happens on SmackDown's already old,
right?
Or it hasn't happened yet,
or it's happening.
Now I will say, There is a new Intercontinental Champion as of last Friday's SmackDown.
Who?
Dolph Ziggler. He's perfection, you know. Oh.
Yeah, you know the kid from Spirit Squad?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey! Or was it Nikki?
Nikki.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Was that even acknowledged on Raw, really?
Nope.
No. So when their own mothership brand
It's so crazy.
doesn't acknowledge that kind of stuff, I'm just saying.
And here's what's stupid about it. There's money out there to be made, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we get a Raw rebound on every show
I
WWE
know.
does? Why are we getting a SmackDown rebound? You got 2 million or so people more watching Raw than watching SmackDown each week. SmackDown still does good. Now, keep in mind, SmackDown's moving on October 6th to Sci-Fi, and they can't really talk much about that due to their agreement with My Network. So why aren't they pushing SmackDown? They do it once every blue moon. Matter of fact, on NXT, I think they had.
You know why
SmackDown
they're not pushing
rebound.
SmackDown? Because Taker's not on SmackDown right now.
So what
Well, I
you're
think
saying
it's the
is
arrogance
what?
within WWE as well.
I'm just saying that without Taker there, they're lacking some star appeal on SmackDown.
They got Cody.
That's
They got
pathetic.
Dolph.
Damian, really?
They're the best company in the
Seriously?
world, Dave.
You're honestly
They're
saying
lacking talent.
the four-letter word again. All they can do with the kid is do grooming tips. That's it. That's it.
Rocky,
Damian,
did you get a chance to watch Raw this past Monday night? I don't know if you saw one of the headlining matchups on Raw.
what was it?
Was it the United States Championship match?
No.
No.
The Miz versus Evan Bourne?
No.
All right.
Well, it happened. Dave, I don't remember the results. Do you remember what
You
happened?
know what? Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened.
What happened?
The Miz comes out. The crowd gets behind him. I'm Miz. I'm awesome chants. Miz beats Evan Bourne. Now listen. I got a bunch of tweets saying, oh, there he goes. Evan Bourne back to jobber status. First of all, who else is Miz going to beat that means anything that isn't in the headlining main event for SummerSlam? He's
Why?
not going to beat the baby faces in the main
hold
event.
on. Let's just kill the little tweeter that wants to be Mr. Smarty to you.
All right.
If they knew anything about the business, it's called elevation.
There you have it. There's that word again.
And that tells you that Evan Bourne is a notch above the Miz.
Uh-huh.
So, next time you want to tweet somebody that somebody lost a match, why don't you think about the other side of the pillow before you talk?
Right. It's like, okay, so if the Miz beats Santino, who cares? It does nothing for him.
Right.
Miz is not going to beat Randy Orton. He's not going to beat John Cena. He's not going to beat Edge or Jericho.
They have to
So
give
let's
him
go to
credibility.
the next guy below there.
Exactly.
Evan Bourne. So I don't want to hear no more about that.
Let's go back to the phone lines at number
See,
276.
and this guy right here is the main culprit because he spins it and stirs it, and then when the facts are presented,
Hey, I'm like
he
Bill
ignores
O'Reilly.
it.
This is a no-spin zone, pal.
What did I spin?
No, you were accusing me of spinning.
Dude, will you spin on that chair? Absolutely.
Let's go to Orlando, Florida. Glenn, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Glenn.
What up?
Glenn, what do you think of TNA Hardcore Justice?
The highlight for me was seeing Too Cold Scorpion wrestle because I've never seen him wrestle, especially seeing that finishing move that I've never seen on TV. It just gave me chills down the spine.
The finisher was pretty awesome.
What did he do?
Like the 450 leg drop from the top.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No, he did a moonsault leg drop.
Well, yeah, he spun around in the air and leg dropped him.
I have two questions for you guys today.
Number one.
What do you think about the concept of having TNA whole effing show? Why didn't they put it on up against Raw if it's such a big show? Why didn't they put it up
Because nobody would watch.
Come on, man.
They ain't going to be doing that anytime soon. Why? Why would they do that? They lose viewers to do that. People would still watch it on Thursday. I think that they're smart in promoting it as a special version of the show and a reason to tune in, but there's no benefit to them going up against WWE programming.
They tried that for a month. It didn't work.
Next question, Glenn.
Why do you think we haven't seen a WCW reunion yet we've seen two ECW reunions, and yet WCW was the bigger of the two?
Well, here's why.
Thanks for that call, Glenn.
The ECW guys are coming in for a hamburger.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger with onion at least.
Okay.
Bacon maybe.
Yeah, that's why.
But here's okay.
Ticket to Disney World.
Okay. If you're going to do a WCW reunion, give me 4 names.
right now that you can use?
Yeah.
You can use Barry Windham.
Oh, come on, dude.
No, the 4 names that you can drive it around. If this ECW thing was driven around Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, my Lord.
Give me 4 names.
For WCW?
I don't think they're out there.
You can use Sting.
No. The ones that already work there?
Sting. You can do Dallas Page. You can get Kevin Nash and Buff Bagwell.
But what are they going to
Booker
say?
T.
What are they going to say?
I know.
Our company got ran into the ground.
I know.
And we
and
then got bought by WWE. ECW was a whole different story.
Yeah.
They were still rising.
No, they were
ran
in the ground.
Yeah, but not on screen. Not the product.
Paulie and the Bank of Spalding, baby.
Not the product days. WCW's product in its last days was a complete and utter joke.
And so was ECW.
No, was it?
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. Well, they did. The rosters were depleted, but that was because of lack of funds being paid. But
ECW grew too fast, right?
No.
Yeah.
You know what? The WCW roster wasn't bad when it folded.
Wasn't bad when it folded, right? But is there that emotional attachment to WCW as there is and was with ECW?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You're crazy.
When? From what period? With who? I told you they watch MMA now.
The
there is
Nitro
no
era.
more. They watch MMA. Sorry.
So I'm saying there's still a strong emotional
Where?
attachment.
To who?
To WCW?
You go find me one of these fans somewhere outside. You go find them.
But they're watching TNA and Raw.
No, I just told you they're watching MMA. They don't watch wrestling anymore, Dave. We lost them. Thank you, Vince McMahon. We lost them. They're gone.
Hey, Rashi.
You're hot about
Rashi.
Yeah, I'm hot about it. We lost our fans.
Rashi, Dave is not Eric Bischoff.
I know, but this is something that irritates me. You know, when you go to state fairs, there used to always be a wrestling show at a state fair.
Yeah.
And now every year you go to state fair and there's MMA fights. And it just pisses me off because they should be pro wrestling.
On a stick.
Yeah. And that's one of the fights. Crap on a stick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But
we will ask the population. We'll do a poll at pwrshow.com. It'll go up in just a few minutes. Would you be interested in a WCW reunion?
Absolutely.
No.
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
And once again, in the WWE, Bret Hart is screwed.
How much is the underwear worth, Dan, since you got me on the price tag on everything else?
Guy's wearing a $3,000 suit and he got his underwear from Walmart.
I'm going to cripple you at Hard Justice. Then I'm going to find my ex, and I'm going to give her some hard justice of my own. And instead of those kids calling me Uncle Scotty, your wife should be the one calling me Daddy.
Fire it up, Dolph. You're the new Intercontinental Champion.
Celebrating 12 years on the air and voted 2009 Broadcast Show of the Year. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRshow.com. Thursday, August 12th, special Thursday night show before we return to our regular schedule starting on Monday of the Pro Wrestling Report. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero and the Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown. We thank those of you that join us on the phones in Hour 1 and all of you chatting along live in the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com.
Damien?
David.
I just got a text from the fake Hogan dude.
Real Hulk _ Hogan?
Yeah. And he told me that if I announce who he is, he's going to kill me.
Like murderous kill you?
Well, I don't know if he... I'm just saying that's what he said.
Break both legs or what?
You can read it how you want to read it.
But we've been teasing it. We had hot news.
Read it how you want to read it.
You know, here's the thing.
Someone's saying he wants to kill you.
Here's the thing.
How would you take it?
I would probably shut my trap.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Catchphrase.
A lot has happened this week with wrestlers speaking out. And a lot has happened.
Rashi got it. Thank you.
A lot has happened.
Mm-hmm.
First was the situation with Hulk Hogan on Twitter, which we'll talk about in a minute. Just a few minutes ago, though, we found a post from Rob Van Dam on his forum at his website. That's pretty damaging to TNA. Let's first talk about the Hogan thing.
No. Let's do RVD first.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
You know why? Because the Hogan thing, listen, we know it's not Christopher Daniels. We know it's not Hulk Hogan. It's someone that's disgruntled, that's just trying to start something.
Is it Rob Terry?
No, because
Is it lupus?
You know what? When Lupus was on
Is
the
it
pay-per-view, I had no idea who that guy was.
It wasn't him, from what I understand.
Wait.
I don't know. Yeah, it was him.
One of our Twitter followers, OMTGITZJ, sent this over to us, and it's apparently some comments allegedly written by Rob Van Dam on his website. And listen closely, folks, because this is some stuff. And I quote, "I'd imagine a lot of the old TNA guys are feeling like they're taking a back seat. The thing is, you can't argue with the numbers. Last week, TNA broke new all-time records for ratings. TNA needed a change. The six-sided ring and the great technical wrestlers that nobody knew wasn't working. TNA brought in 2 rock stars, and look at the company now. Dixie often points out how hiring Jeff Hardy and RVD started a whole new era. Why do some of the wrestlers not see it? Too young, too green, too selfish to have the correct perspective. Whereas some of the TNA quote-unquote stars are lucky to get recognized walking around the studios, Jeff and myself live like actual celebrities, signing autographs and taking pictures everywhere we go. Without experiencing this, it's probably hard to imagine. In fact, very few wrestlers stick out in people's minds the way that Jeff and I do. We love our fans, and we love their love. TNA is blowing up. Good things will come our way, and I see it all happening now. This is a very exciting time. More people watching TNA means more people exposed to the other wrestlers on the card, too, as long as they're good enough to hang around with the rising standards." Wow.
Yeah. Needless to say, I think Mr. RVD is going to be gone for a little while.
Well, we'll see that.
Yeah, right.
Well,
we'll see.
Well, no, here's what it is.
Impact's on right now. We don't want to spoil anything, but the story starts to get told tonight.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Well,
here's the problem. You don't have this in WWE.
No.
Rey Mysterio did it once. In that article he did down in Mexico, and he got in trouble for it when he lashed out against WWE after he had been suspended for wellness policy violation.
You don't.
TNA's got no control.
None.
They've got this is like Days of Our Lives. This is as the wrestling ring turns. This is just damaging to the company. It's damaging to the stars. It's damaging to everybody. And what could it be doing to the talent, to the overall morale, to the overall psyche in TNA wrestling? What impact must this be having?
Well, on the heels of the whole Hogan Twittergate thing, this is not good for that company. See, here's the problem. Everyone can criticize Vince McMahon all they want. This stuff never, ever comes out of his company.
Yep.
Let me tell you, there is no chain of command like I told you once before. There's too many people in charge. Bischoff and Hogan may be in charge, but they're not the only ones in charge because other people call their own shots, so that means they're not in charge completely. And until you have total control of your talent like Vince McMahon does, things like this will go on. It's this simple. If you own the company and you want it to be successful, you have to fire everyone that is not talent. Hire who you want to hire to run the company and let him do his thing and just step back. And if it's Paul Heyman, let him assemble his crew. Don't assign him people that are his writers. Let him do it his own way. Everyone will fall in line. There won't be cliques. There won't be different chains of command. You do it his way or you go to the wayside. That's how you run a company. Until then, this is what we get. Stuff to talk about.
I mean, these are 2 big bombshells for that company. It just shows that there's no one running that ship.
They're a joke.
But you know what? Of the 1.2 million people or so that watch Impact every week, how many of them know any of this is happening?
Less than 10%.
Right.
But still, it doesn't make a difference because we're talking about it right now. We're telling the world about this right now.
Here's the problem.
Listen, wait, hold on. If you are any other talent, let's say you're Randy Orton, John Cena, any one of the top guys in TNA that wants a lighter work schedule, is that where you want to go? Where it's just chaos?
Yeah. No. Not at all.
Put it this way.
Actually, wait. If I'm Randy Orton or I'm a top star and I want a lighter work schedule, yeah, that's where I want to go because I'm going to work once or twice or 3 times a month, and I'm going to make the same money, and I'm going to tell you when I'm going to wrestle, and I'm going to tell you when I don't want to wrestle, and I'm going to blog whatever I want, and I'm going to post whatever I want on the Internet. Nothing's going to happen to me. Did this happen in New York?
No.
Nope. No. Exactly. So why wouldn't you want to go there as a wrestler? It's free money to do what you want to do. You run the asylum. You go there. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's that simple.
But, okay.
If it's just simple monetary, not for happiness and loving what you do and things of that nature, just for a lighter work schedule with the same amount of money, and you know you can manipulate those people because they're starstruck and they're a mark for you because they're just so inferior that anyone that comes from WWE is superior to them. And that is the trap they're in.
Well, yeah, because everyone that comes from there, they put a belt on right away.
Exactly. So how do you discipline Rob Van Dam? He'll go back home happily. He's in a position that very few wrestlers, he's in a position that very few wrestlers on this earth are in. He can go home and be happy. He don't need to wrestle no more.
No.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. Here's another thing with TNA. And you know what? I'll get criticized for mentioning Kevin Nash, all right? But Tommy Dreamer is keeping a guy like Kevin Nash off of TV, a guy that has drawn ratings before. They're spending more time with Tommy Dreamer in EV2 than some of the current stars that they have.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. The whole company's messed up again.
Whether what he said was true or not, the fact that it's out there is damaging.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Not knocking what he said, but
it's his opinion. It's his opinion, but it's wow.
all bad.
It's out there, man. I appreciate the fact that he's real like that. I mean, if that's how he feels, and it's out there.
Well, that's
now,
how he
it's out
feels.
there.
Because you know what? Rob Van Dam gets big money to leave his house.
I know.
He doesn't have to go
He's
anywhere.
real.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can be real when you're in the position he's in. And I appreciate him for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other big story from earlier this week, just 2 days ago actually, was Hulk Hogan on Twitter. Or was he? And we're going to talk about that as we get to a couple of phone calls. Let's go out to a very patient James in Rhode Island, who's been on hold for a little while. James, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Tremendous. How are you?
Hashmark tremendous.
I heard everything that you guys have been saying, and it's absolutely true. I mean, Dixie Carter is, I don't know where her head is. I mean, first she brings ECW into the fold, and, you got superstars, you got her employees that need to eat, that have kids to feed, that have been loyal to her and to the company, and they have to take a back seat to ECW guys. Now, what's to say down the line other stars come in from other organizations that want the same thing that ECW have? Is she going to continue to just let them take over the company like that? I mean, like, when will it end? I mean, it's turning into WCW 2000.
Turning?
It's turning into it. No one knows who's the boss. No one knows who wants to take charge.
That's I think they enjoy that kind of atmosphere. Mr. B and Mr. H.
Yeah, and pretty soon you're going to have stars like back in WCW leave and want to go to
where
WWE.
But here's the thing: Vince doesn't want them.
Right, they can't go nowhere.
I think Vince wants some of them.
Okay, if Vince could pick 3 guys right now, who would he take?
He'll take Robert Roode.
Definitely AJ.
No,
AJ doesn't
too
fit.
Small.
No, he's not too small. He just doesn't fit.
He doesn't fit either. He has the country accent, and they don't like that country accent.
Listen, here's the thing: they took The Miz and made him into a star.
See,
they can't do that with AJ.
They can do something with him.
No, because here's the thing:
bury him.
They're going to punish him the same way they've punished Christian.
Right.
Okay. Christian is one of the most talented guys on the Raw or SmackDown roster. And what has he done since he's been back?
Wait. No, that's totally different because Christian was with
Christian
WWE.
was one of them,
left.
but they will never bring a TNA guy that was from TNA from the get-go.
Look at Chris Jericho
and elevate him.
Look at Chris Jericho. He was a WCW guy.
Yeah,
he left and went to.
They were getting their tail handed to him by WCW at the time.
But he also paid his dues.
No. The only reason Jericho and then the the Malenko and Saturn and when all of them came over and Big Show, only reason they got huge pushes. Yeah, the only reason they got huge pushes is because WWE was desperate. They were losing the battle to WCW at the time, so having their stars was beneficial to them.
But it could happen. It could anything could like you always say in wrestling, anything could happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, who's saying that he's not valuable to the WWE?
No.
We're just saying I don't think
AJ's
he's there.
talented,
He wouldn't be on
worker.
their radar if they could raid the talent of TNA. He would
And
not
here's
be.
why. Here's why. Vince McMahon will look at NXT and his FCW and say, I got 7 AJ Styles down there. I'll make my own.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it right.
But that's how
reality.
it is.
James, thank you for that call. Sorry to disappoint. Thanks for that call. And when we come back, we've got the very inflammatory statements made by someone posing to be Hulk Hogan on Twitter.
Wait.
Just a couple of days ago.
I know who it is.
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on
Preparation
540
Age.
ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Beer Money, that theme song there. Right now, pretty damn good matchup happening on TNA on Spike TV.
Oh, boy.
Beer Money versus the Motor City Machine Guns, 5th match of the series, and there's a lot of hoopla surrounding this matchup. What's wrong, David?
Well, after we announced that whole RVD thing, I sent it out to a few people to get their take on it. RVD is going to get a little talking to when he finally shows back up with an Impact Zone. There's some guys that are kind of hot about it.
Wouldn't you be?
Well, yeah. You know what the thing is? I like Rob Van Dam. I think he's a good dude. I like Jeff Hardy. Do you know why they're treated as rock stars when they go through the airport? Because they were on TV in front of millions of people, made lots of money.
No. See, this is the
Hold
problem.
on. I'm not done yet.
You're
when these guys go to the rental car place, they don't get the Ford Focus. They get the sports car, or they get the H2, or they perpetuate that rock star image.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead now.
Perception is reality.
Well, for a lot of people, it is.
All right. So, for what he's saying is, in order to be a star, you have to act like a star. You don't walk around looking for people to notice you. And I see this in locker rooms, and it's a joke. You look around, and you see a guy looking to see if somebody notices him walking by, and the crowd or, a fan doesn't acknowledge him. It's probably a shock to the ego. But I know exactly what he's talking about. When I walk through airports, people want to know what I do. They have no idea who I am, but they want to know what I do.
Well, they're confused because you wear those soccer jerseys all the time.
Hey, don't you worry about what I wear. Anyway.
Got to point your finger at me, bully.
You can be a part of the program. The number 276-ESPN, 276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-ESPN.
Wow.
Wow is really the word.
Listen.
This is hot.
I can't say who it's from.
Uh-huh.
He has become the new Shawn Michaels.
What does that mean?
RVD has become the new Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels 1996 or Shawn Michaels
I'm guessing. Well,
2005?
96.
Well, so they created it.
Speaking of creations, the monster, Abyss. Right now live on TNA Impact. Big story is going to be told here in a few minutes. Speaking of big stories, I've been looking at it. It's fun. David, you mentioned earlier how we didn't hop on this Hogan story bandwagon. because what we do in our role, being here on 540 ESPN, being on television for the last 13 years, is we check stories.
Mm-hmm.
And when something too good to be true comes out, we start looking into it. And
yeah, pick up the Super Friends hotline.
I've been going to a couple of these wrestling journalist websites, some of the big ones, and trying to get to their coverage of it. And all these pop-ups and ads and spyware and malware and malicious software is keeping me from getting there. But I finally got through to one. This is at, I'm going to name it just because it's, well, that's the way they reported it. I want to give the sources the proper credit, I guess, here. PWInsider.com said this. They reported the headline was two huge, really huge names leaving TNA.
Mm-hmm.
On the official Twitter page of Hulk Hogan, the following was posted minutes ago. I know you've heard the rumors, brothers, and they are true. Eric and I are leaving TNA on a mutual basis. I just got out of meetings now. It was really fun, but time to move on. TNA has new leadership coming in. Make sure you Hulkamaniacs still support them. TNA needs the power of Hulkamania to live on, brothers. Thank you, Dixie and Bob Carter, for the wonderful and positive experiences in TNA. Nothing but the best to you guys. Brother, this isn't the last of me, though. You'll be able to see me at Hulk Hogan and Friends events on tour soon.
Coming to a casino near you.
Now, this just kept on going. And it turned very quickly. Now, let me back up, actually. I'm not faulting anyone for going on the official Twitter page of Hulk Hogan because Eric Bischoff and Bubba the Love Sponge endorsed it just Wednesday morning when all this happened and said Hogan was on Twitter, and that's his Twitter account. So why wouldn't you think it was actually Hogan? So I don't fault this being reported so much, but it was just too good to be true, too bad to be true, too surprising maybe not be true. Eric Bischoff then said it's not Hogan. TNA Dixie, which is the Twitter name of Dixie Carter, says it's not Hogan. Hogan's not leaving. It's all made up. It's a lie. Well, from there, this real Hulk Hogan account turns into a disgruntled TNA wrestler. The locker room is upset. We're being held back.
It's
the
Pac-Man
focus
Jones.
isn't on the right people. We're all ready to walk out. I'm speaking for all the TNA talent. Dixie, you need to apologize to us. Dixie, you need to stop falling for what Bischoff and Hogan tell you. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse for TNA as the day goes on. And TNA's in spin control and damage control because they've directed everybody to this fake Hulk Hogan account. And then it buries the company.
Guess what? Before you go, that wasn't me that tweeted that, but whatever that disgruntled employee is talking about, I think I was preaching, right?
Oh, yeah, you were preaching. You know, though, at the same time, there was less than 10,000 followers on that Hulk Hogan thing when it all popped.
4,000 about is the exact number.
So there's too many weird fishinesses.
But Dave, okay, yeah, right. But social media, what do people do? Retweet, respond. It gets in the stream.
Believe me, it was retweeted everywhere, brother. But you know what, though? At the same time, I know we can't mention it, whatever, but I would have been surprised if it was Hogan. Why wouldn't it be?
Right.
Trying to promote this they angle. But it's not. It's some other guy.
Well, yeah, but the problem is, Dave, a lot of it was true.
A lot of it was true. That was the scary thing. I mean, it was like, wow. Even Kevin Nash put it over. You know? He tweeted about how good it was.
Yep. There's too many truths in there.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate inside job.
I will say this. The guy that did it used to be part of your company, Rashi Brown.
Rashi?
What, the NWA?
Part of Ring of Honor.
Rashi? Do you think it was Hogan himself, an actual TNA employee, or some hack?
Let's see. Can you like delete your Twitter and then somebody can assume it if you delete it?
You can contact Twitter if you think you're being abused or if someone is using your likeness that is not you.
But let's say Hogan started a Twitter and then erased it, and then someone else started a Twitter as
I don't
Hogan.
think enough time passed for that to happen.
Well, then
this is all happening in the matter of a few hours.
I'm going to say somebody in Bischoff's camp knows what's going on, because if they all endorse this Hogan thing and the timing's so right.
Well, Bischoff's blaming it on Bubba.
Why not?
Everyone blames poor Bubba.
And when is Bischoff?
Poor Bubba.
I know. Don't say
Poor
Bubba.
Bubba. What is happening over there?
Wow, dude.
That was
can't
sarcasm.
see your face, but the forehead is like pretty hot right now.
Looks like I-94.
You know what? Think about it though. Bubba, he still has an axe to grind with TNA. It could have been him. Stop it.
Rossi, who was it?
It could have been Bubba.
That wasn't one of the options. We'll give a chance for y'all to
you
think
have
about
to think
it. Dave, you're gonna
outside
be
the
next.
box.
And that's what I'm paid to do.
We'll be right back. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Special Thursday night show, August 12th, 2010. You know, I've got to throw a special shout-out out to my mother, Valerie Nelson. It's her birthday today.
Wow. Happy birthday, Mom.
She's going to party like it's her birthday at Wisconsin State Fair right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What is she getting on a stick? There's 60-some items, you know.
I haven't been to the State Fair in years.
You know what? Listen to this. I was there last week. The State Fair is now like the Jersey Shore.
Snooki?
There was a lot of Snookies, a lot of JWowws, a whole bunch of jabrones there.
Yeah, I was there, but I couldn't look.
No? Oh, yeah, that's right. You got that little kryptonite ring on your finger.
Yeah.
Sorry, pal.
The question before the timeout, who is it? Who is driving that Hummer? Was it Hogan who put out the tweets? Was it a disgruntled TNA wrestler?
It was somebody just.
Or was it just some mark?
You know what?
No, it's not. It wasn't.
I'm going to throw out a few names, and we can multiple guess it. One of them is obviously the right one. Hogan, Ed Ferreira, Randy Ritchie, Samoa Joe.
That's a short list.
Well, you got a 25% chance of getting it right then, don't you?
Will it ever be revealed officially, publicly?
Who cares?
No,
it
not
won't
going
be.
to change
Who
anything.
cares? What?
When I saw that they were saying he was Christopher Daniels, I've met Christopher Daniels. He doesn't drop F-bombs. He's not.
He
that
doesn't
kind
even
of guy.
curse. He's not that kind of a dude.
No. And here's the thing. 3 of Christopher Daniels' best friends are working in TNA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kaz, AJ, and Joe.
Well, he refuted the claims that it was him.
Well, of course.
On his own.
He should have.
All right.
I just think it's interesting how this whole thing has taken on such a huge life of its own.
Well, it's pretty huge.
I don't think so. I just think you're validating this whole thing by talking about it more, right? It's not.
It's hot news, Rashi.
It's not. It's a prank is hot news.
You know what?
But it may not be a prank.
You know what?
We wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't so true.
Okay, so this is the thing. It may be very true, and maybe Hogan tweeted way before he was supposed to tweet, and they shouldn't have done it for a couple of days, and maybe that's why they had to backtrack and retract, and you know what I mean? But I don't know. But then where did the other comments come in?
You know what's hot news? We got a hot news guest next week. We haven't even mentioned it yet.
I was getting ready.
I'll
to
be
get
here.
that.
Yeah, there's a hot news to me.
As we return to next Monday night, August 16th, our normal day and time, Monday night, 10 o'clock, right after WWE Raw Central Standard Time. We welcome back a favorite guest of the Pro Wrestling Report. He's going to be appearing in Milwaukee next Sunday.
Who that is?
Mr. Anderson. Ken Anderson.
What's
will be
he
our
doing
guest
here?
He'll be
week.
signing autographs at Romines, where
Where?
they party every day on 27th and College from 3 to 5 p.m.
And we'll be there Sunday night watching WWE SummerSlam.
Are you going to be coming out for SummerSlam?
Absolutely. I ain't ordering it.
Yeah.
Just 5 matches.
I don't know. Probably.
Alicia Fox is going to be on the pay-per-view.
We'll get to the
okay.
SummerSlam predictions and
Doesn't matter. We're just as long as Alicia Fox is there, you know we'll be there.
So here's my question: you got Abyss versus RVD right now, and
Eric Bischoff's in a match, so now the ratings have spiked because he's the referee.
Well, he draws. If you ask him, he tells you.
Yeah, he draws. All right.
Cartoons.
Exactly.
So you got Abyss who just took a bump into the thumbtacks in the glass.
In the buttock region.
Yeah, but he's wearing all these clothes.
I know exactly.
So what's the shock about it?
There is none.
I'm sorry. Just what?
Oh, he's stuck in a barbed wire.
Who
The
puts
barbed
barbed wire under the ring anymore? You know?
Well, that's from the.
That's called pre.
That's from the mid-'90s.
I know.
All right, let's get to some phone calls. We've got a very patient Vic out in California. Line 2, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Tremendous. How are you, Vic?
Pretty good, man. Thanks. Long-time callers, actually, or long-time listeners. It's actually my first time calling in.
Awesome.
Yeah. I actually wanted to say a little thing about TNA management. I know a lot of people bash on it all the time. They say that, it's not really going to go anywhere. The Hogan Bischoff regime is leading nothing. Personally, I see it as a history repeating itself, really. If you guys remember back to the old days of WCW, during the revolving door of leadership, you had Dusty Rhodes, you had Bill Watts, you had a bunch of people coming in before Eric Bischoff came in and actually set everything straight. What I see right now is that limbo period. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that.
Well, here's the thing. When the New Breed or whatever, when Bischoff returned to WCW, they were already on their downward spiral.
Yep.
And TNA, I do see some similarities. They're they keep doing all this big announcement, big new thing, big this, big that, and at some point they're just spinning their wheels. And I'm not sure if they're at that point yet, but the one person who has remained largely in charge throughout all this is Dixie Carter. The truth, the person who's really running the show. Now, the question is, who's guiding her in her decision-making? And that is what has potentially changed frequently over the last few months. Would I liken it to WCW? I don't think you ever had as much internal combustion as you have in TNA. In WCW.
I don't know about that. The roster was like 3 times the roster with 3 times the headaches, man, and that was pretty deep back then.
Yeah, you're right.
Pretty deep. You had people running each other over with rental cars, and man, it was so crazy back then in that place. That people just say they were injured, sit home for 6 months, never get checked by a doctor.
Yeah. Yep. Now, also, thank you for that call, Vic, out in California. You got this Abyss RVD match on the TNA Impact tonight, and apparently Abyss has got his eyes on Dixie Carter, and she's really got to feel protected because Terry Taylor is the person protecting her.
Yeah,
he who took one punch and rolled out of the ring when the EV2 guys came into the ring a couple of weeks ago on
Good old Red Rooster.
Oh, my gosh, Mr. Hughes is at ringside.
That's not Mr. Hughes.
That wasn't him?
No.
I'll rewind that one. Rashi. That wasn't Mr. Hughes?
That was the limo driver.
Let's go to CJ in Virginia. You're live.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, CJ.
I just wanted to just talk about this TNA Twitter fiasco or whatever is going on. I mean, I'm basically late to this whole shindig, if you will, but it's just basically I have to be that guy and say that I think it's a work. I really do. It's just all the evidence leads to, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, I think it was about 2 months ago. I think I was reading something about Bischoff and how he said the creative had came up with something very intriguing between now up until Bound for Glory. And according to whoever was tweeting on the internet, basically said that my identity will be revealed in October. And the thing about that is it's supposed that several talents' contracts are up in October, supposedly. I'm not sure how true that is, though. But, I mean, that's just my, spin on things. So I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
That's a little too deep for them.
Well, no, there are a lot of the contracts that do expire in October.
Yeah.
That's just because that's their Bound for Glory, and that's when their contracts are up.
But I don't think the foresight with the Twitter and the whole thing.
Maybe not. No.
Thanks for that call, CJ out in Virginia. We're going to take a timeout. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Damian Nelson, Rashi Brown, and David Octavius Hero.
Yeah.
Frank Costantino. The Cos has a gig tonight. Not able to join us.
I had no idea he was DJ Kaz.
I didn't know he can do Elvis.
Right?
Yeah. He's doing
Glory,
Elvis
glory.
at a polka.
Hallelujah. Tomorrow night, David Hero, we return to the television airwaves.
It's about time.
Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time back on the air tomorrow night. Look for it at pwrshow.com, 8 Eastern, 7 Central.
See, fortunately for the PWR fans, my contract isn't like RVD's. I have unlimited
or
dates.
players.
Yes.
So let's take a look at that tomorrow. We're going to preview WWE SummerSlam, which I know I said we were going to get to today, but you know what? There's been too much hot news.
There's way too much news.
Well, we got all this products we put out there. We can just deflect and turn to the next show.
We need to call the corporate offices here at ESPN.
No more time.
And get a third hour.
No. Third hour?
Why not?
That's going to require
Nitro did 3 hours.
And
look where
what?
Nitro is. Wow. Yeah. You have to leave the people wanting more.
Rossi Brown?
Yes, sir.
What do you know about Tyler Black?
That's his name.
Come on.
Rumor has it he signed a developmental contract with WWE.
That's the rumor.
He's the current Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah.
You wrestled this past Monday night on Ring of Honor on HDNet. He was on the same show. He had a message for the fans. Like him, hate him, whatever. He doesn't care.
Okay. Maybe I can take that belt off his waist before I throw him out of my locker.
Who was his tag partner in the early days, or when he was wrestling here in Milwaukee?
Merrick Brave.
Whatever happened to him?
I think he still wrestles around the Illinois, Iowa area. I think.
All right.
Wow, you just got the all right.
I'm sorry. I mean, what? There's always a Peter Scolari. We know this.
Wait, Peter, didn't he do the theme song for Greatest American Hero?
No.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
That's Bosom Buddies, Tom Hanks.
Where
Peter
could
Scolari.
I be? David, that's from Seinfeld.
I know that was from Seinfeld. I heard the George deal.
This past Tuesday, WWE NXT. The show opened with Michael Cole and Josh Matthews in a bit of a contest. Another Seinfeld reference there. With a boxing video game. Michael Cole dressed all up in the Miz attire with a belt that was duct tape. Powdered and everything. Michael Cole, a big fan of the Miz all of a sudden.
Wow. That was
I think
crazy.
it's the Harley Fest that's going on.
No. That was the chicken TNA and the black motorcycle.
Come on now. Hey now.
Stop it.
It wasn't her?
Lucky Cannon. Not so lucky. Eliminated from NXT this week.
Mm-hmm.
Caval, Husky Harris, and Rashi, I don't think you picked anyone. All still preserved, so it's going to get down to the wire for our picks for the winner of Season 2 of NXT. Not that the winner matters, because they'll just end up headlining WrestleMania with the way things are going, the whole Season 2 group.
All right, man. So once again, when they're eliminated, where do they go?
To the main event of SummerSlam. That's what happened on Season 1.
But on the show, for the show's sake, when they're eliminated, where do they go?
Back to FCW.
Is that truly where they go, or then at the end of the season do they reappear and then do this next thing again? I don't know, man.
What they're going to do is they're going to rebuild the tag team division. And they're going to have,
I told you what they're going to do, man. At SummerSlam, Vince is going to look around and he's going to say, hey, I have next 1 and I have next 2. I don't need any of the rest of you.
Right.
Just fire the rest of the roster. And we can have Bud Bowl 1 and 2 over and over again. Just eight uncharismatic bodies banging into each other and just see what happens.
I thought NXT was a decent show. We had Miz versus Morrison. We had the 6-man repeat for Monday night. It wasn't a bad show.
It wasn't a bad show.
Michael Cole and Josh Matthews are entertaining.
Hey, is Husky Harris still on there?
Yeah, he is.
How about that?
Oh, yeah. How about his coach, Dash and Cody Rhodes?
And they told me to lose a couple pounds. Ain't that about a whooping?
Husky is so old school in his appearance, though.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's something different.
He's like a Dinty Moore kind of guy.
No. He reminds me of like a...
Trevor,
like Adrian Adonis before he really blew up and got bloated.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Husky Harris, he has the wrestling pedigree in his blood.
Yes, he does.
He's got Mulligan and Rotundo.
Yep. We're going to take our final time out of the evening. When we come back, we're going to get to Bowman 9 and Lenny on the phones as we end out the show. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN as TNA Impact goes off the air. Let's go to some phone calls. Let's go to line one. Dashingly Awesome Bowman, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hello?
It's a tremendous night here.
Dashing. How are you, Bowman?
I'm good. I want to talk about some quick things. By seeing that everything that's coming out of TNA, you see why WWE banned anybody from talking.
Yeah.
You got to one company and one voice. That's how you have to run your business.
Yep, exactly.
And secondly, a lot of people bash how WWE sort of, quote unquote, how you guys say, buried talent that didn't come from them. But I see it as a way of how they keep their brand as number one. Because even though some guy comes from someplace else and they've done something great there, you have to make it look like your league is better than their league. So when they come over, you can't just have them instantly win like they do in TNA, like they did in WCW. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, you have what you see what's happening on TNA right now, where none of those other guys matter because obviously the guys that are walking in coming from another company with their buzz already are already better than you. When you're supposed to be projected as being the top brand. WWE always does a good job of that. It's like, I know your what's his name, whoever, Christian, for example. Well, that's probably not a great example, but let's say for...
No, you can say what you will, but what they do is they humble you, and that's the bottom line. It's not about protecting their brand. It's you come in, you're going to play by our rules. We'll humble you, and then we will build you slowly if we feel like it, and that's the way it goes.
Thank you for that call, Bowman. We're running out of time. To that point, WWE is a well-oiled machine. TNA is not. Let's go out to California. 9, you're live. 9, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
How's it going, guys?
Good. We got a couple moments left. What do you have for us?
I just want to call and say that I know who the fake Hogan is.
Oh, bring it on. Who dat?
Charlie Hill.
Charlie Hill. All right. Thank you for that. 9 out of California. Who's Charlie Hill?
No idea.
That would be Linda Hogan's future husband.
Oh, there we go. New Papa. Thank you for that call. 9 out in California. And Lenny in Maryland, real quick.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you? What do you have?
I got one quick question. All right. Impact's about to end. Which one would you rather pay for, Hardcore Justice or tonight's Impact?
Thank you for that question, Lenny. Tonight's Impact or Hardcore Justice? I would say Hardcore Justice.
How's the Hardcore Justice?
Brand new episode of PWR Primetime tomorrow at PWRshow.com and here on Time Warner Cable in Milwaukee. This Sunday, right after SummerSlam, it's a live interactive with your questions, your calls, your comments. Right after the show with a complete wrap-up and all the results from WWE SummerSlam. And tomorrow on Primetime, we'll preview WWE SummerSlam as well. We return to 540 ESPN next Monday night, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. Our guest, Ken Anderson. So be sure to tune in for David Octavius Tiberius Hero, Rashi Brown, The Kaz, and this is Davian Nelson saying thanks for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.